guys, Satsuki the Savage here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter, chapter 386. It was actually a lot to talk about in this chapter, so let's take it step by step with this review. The first thing to talk about is this whole thing between Theta and Sarita, because in this chapter we found out from one of the bodyguards that there was no blood found anywhere where Theta supposedly shot Sarita. Now, even though Theta suspects that this was due to some type of illusion inability, I still don't believe that that's the case, and I'll tell you why. Now, I'm not completely ruling out the possibility of this being an illusion. In fact, the three possibilities I raised in my last review was that A, it's an illusion, B, it's some time-based inability, or C, it's an inability similar to Camilla where you can revive from death. The reason that I don't believe that this was an illusion is the fact that Theta strongly believes that she shot that damn gun. That is a fact that she refuses to yield. This was also backed up by the other bodyguards who said that they heard a gunshot before they heard the flute from Melody. So if Theta shot her gun but she didn't shoot Sarita like she believes, then there should at least be a hole in the wall somewhere. But unfortunately, I don't believe that we will get an answer as to what the hell happened with Sarita anytime soon, because that will reveal his hand, and I don't believe that Togashi is going to do that just yet. Also, Theta was not rocking the face scars that we seen just the last chapter. Now, I want to sit here and say that it has some type of significance, but this is Togashi we're talking about. This is the same motherfucker who forgot to draw the cuts on Morena's face in the same goddamn chapter that he introduced her. Now, last chapter we see that Salkov gave Theta something when she woke up, so maybe this thing covered up the scar. We're not sure. I'm just hoping that Togashi didn't seriously forget a big detail like that. And moving on to the fourth prince, we see that he's continuing his training with Salkov, and Salkov is a big ass pushover because Sarita is basically dictating the pace of his training now. Theta and Salkov are supposed to be stunting the fourth prince's growth, but Salkov is just letting the fourth prince do whatever he wants, and he is just not good for this job. Now, as to what Sarita is practicing, he wants to go in Zetsu as fast as someone can blink, which leads me to think, or it leads me to speculate, that Sarita could be further along than he's letting on. A key detail that I failed to mention was the fact that Sarita already knew what Zetsu was before Theta taught him. Now, he didn't know how to do it, but he knew what it was. So Sarita is playing dumb and actually knows more about Nen than he's letting on. This leads me to think or speculate that he was actually in rather than Zetsu when Theta shot him. If you guys don't remember, there is a key difference between Zetsu and In. In Zetsu, you are suppressing your aura so you can't use Nen abilities, but in you are concealing your aura so you can still use Nen abilities. It's just that nobody can see it unless they use Gyo. Now, there's no concrete evidence that Sarita knows In, but Sarita is highly intelligent and he's highly capable of learning In that fast, so I wouldn't put it past him. Sarita also said at the end of the chapter that he now finds two-faced women to be cute, which means that he knows Theta was lying the whole time. Now, as to why he now finds two-faced women to be cute, it could be because now he has a purpose for lying women. I'm trying to tell y'all motherfuckers, Theta is about to suffer something worse than death, and we don't even know what the hell it is. Briefly talking about Melody, we see that she was scooped up by the Department of Justice, of course because of her possible involvement with the escape attempts of Kacho and Fugetsu. And we can see from this chapter that the Department of Justice is independent from the prince's influence. Otherwise, Melody would probably be in some prince's room right now. So right now, Melody being detained by the Department of Justice is actually a good thing, because there are princes that want their hands on her, and now she has more time to think of her next game plan. Now, the guy that's investigating and currently questioning Melody right now is the same guy with the glasses that we seen in chapter 381 or 382, I believe. And this is the same guy that gave Melody those weird vibes. Melody didn't get the feeling that this guy was evil per se, but she did get the feeling that he could possibly be controlled. Now moving on to Halkenburg. Now we all remember the chapter where Halkenburg went ham and shot one of the bodyguards of Prince Benjamin. I believe his name was Shikaku. Halkenburg shot Shikaku with one of his arrows, and we seen that the body of one of his bodyguards, Sumidori, actually fell down, and I presumed him to be dead at that time. But no, we see that his body is still alive, but he is unconscious. However, I did predict that Halkenburg's ability was a transfer of his bodyguard's soul to another body. Now, as to how this whole thing works, we still don't know, but there are 4 possibilities right now. Either A, Halkenburg shoots his arrow at somebody and the soul of one of his bodyguards is now put in the body of the person who has been shot, and the soul of the person who has been shot previously is gone. B, Halkenburg shoots somebody and now the soul of the person that has been shot is transferred to his bodyguard while the soul of his bodyguard is now in the person that he just shot. Basically just a switching of the souls. C, Halkenburg shoots somebody and now the soul of his bodyguard is now put in the body of the person that he shot and now is coexisting with the soul of the person he shot as well. And lastly, D, Halkenburg shoots somebody, the soul of one of his bodyguards is now put in the body of the person he's just shot, and the soul of the person he shot previously is now somewhere else completely. Now, Halkenburg has some type of hypothesis. What this exactly is, we weren't privy to, but we do know that he wants to test out method number 2 with this whole arrow thing. I also felt like it was important to note that Halkenburg has 12 bodyguards with him right now, because to me, to get over his nin ability, you have to go through his bodyguards first. Now, Halkenburg uses Sumidori, who's in the body of Shikaku, to test out his hypothesis. So what does he do? He goes in front of the 7th prince's room and shoots himself in the head. Now, the question is, why? The easiest thing to think is that Halkenburg wanted to test and see if the person who he shot with the arrow, if they were killed, would their soul go back to their original body? But the question still remains, why do it in front of the 7th prince's room? I've been thinking about this for a while, and I came up with absolutely jack shit. I mean, I get why he chose the 7th prince's room to do this in front of, because his room and the 7th prince's room are right next to each other, but I still don't know why he did it in front of the 7th prince's room to begin with. It's also important to note that Basho felt this rumbling and his huge nin presence all disappear at once as soon as Sumidori shot himself. Halkenburg's presence is also felt by Kurapika, who says this huge nin aura disappearing at once is similar to a balloon popping and is probably from an emitter ability. Now, when we go back to Halkenburg, we see that Sumidori is tied up in a chair, and we don't know if the soul of Sumidori is now in his body. So Halkenburg asks him what's his affiliation and his ID number. So with this, Halkenburg is one step closer to figuring out the conditions and the stipulations of his nin ability, which will be pretty useful down the line. We also see this weird ass water pitcher. I don't know if this has any significance whatsoever. It just looked strange to me because you could kind of see a face in it. Now, going to Kurapika, we see that he's still doing these training sessions, and he now has 1 week left to teach everybody nin. So an important step in learning nin is learning what category you fall into. So Kurapika does the whole water divination test in front of everybody. Kurapika fools everybody into thinking that he's a specialist when we all know that he's really a conjurer. And I like the key detail that Togashi added with Kurapika fiddling with his contacts. Now, since Kurapika exposed what type he was, he wants to conduct these individual water divination tests with everybody. But we all know revealing your nin type to everybody is dangerous, so initially some people refuse. But Kurapika insists, and he basically says, either you do this or you get the fuck up out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now, since Kurapika revealed that he's a specialist, Fury Nova wants Rihan to switch with Bobby Mana so that Rihan can kill Kurapika. However, Bobby Mana refuses to switch with Rihan and he keeps giving excuses as to why he won't switch. So this leaves Fury Nova a little suspicious, but he pretty much accepts it. We also learn that Rihan is currently working on the 5th Prince Tubeppa, but currently Tubeppa's Nimbeast won't show itself. Now I kind of found it strange that Bobby Mana refused to switch with Rihan because Rihan would be a better option to watch over Kurapika right now. That's why I think Bobby Mana has ulterior motives as to why he wants to bodyguard Prince Wobble and look after Kurapika right now. What those intentions are, we don't know, but I strongly believe that he isn't totally in line with Fury Nova. But that pretty much wraps up everything in this chapter. I thought this was a good chapter because we got so much information. We learned so much just from this one chapter. So again, I thought this was pretty good. Also, the poll question for this video is going to be, does Theta look better with the scar or not? Hot or not with the scar? All right, that's the question. But guys, that is it for this review. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Satsuki the Savage, out. Oh shit. Yeah. Hey, I feel like going free. I feel like I'm a freak. Yeah, she's a freak. Hey, she take 2 deeks. That's better. Fuck, that's better. Thank you for delivering when I need you to. Like a good neighbor. Stay far. No, like a good neighbor. Satsuki is here. Like a good neighbor. Satsuki is here. If you guys don't remember, hey yo, gon' come, Killua. Let's not do this here. I don't want to destroy this place.